Tonight on News 5 Live, a woman is found semi-nude and beaten to death in Danriga. An attempt on the life of Albert Valentine in PG has resulted in the murder of an innocent bystander. A law enforcement officer is caught on camera brutalizing a Belize City resident on Farbers Road. Police detained 2 employees of Recinos following a robbery report they made. On Anti-Corruption Day, the Belize Peace Movement stages a protest calling for an end to corruption. Meanwhile, the NTUCB is demanding movement on the stalled UNCAC process. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
Signing up for Smart
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live from Monday, December 9th. I am Marlene Cuellar. A woman is one of 2 murder victims of the weekend. In Danriga, the community is stunned at the shocking killing of a 36-year-old woman who was killed and dumped in the sea where her body was found early Sunday morning. The well-known resident Jasmine Garcia, known around Danriga as Min Min or Minas, was found with injuries to the neck and head. Her body was semi-nude. Her family says that there was a threat to her life some time ago, but it is hard to tell who did it because she had contact with too many people. Today, they are trying to come to terms with the cold-blooded murder. Reporter Andrea Polanco has the story.
When they called me and they told me that they found a body and they said that is Jasmine, I couldn't do anything anymore. All I had was to do was cry.
A tragedy that Margaret Garcia Mackenzie wasn't expecting. Her eldest child, 36-year-old Jasmine Garcia, brutally murdered in her hometown. Sometime around 7 on Sunday morning, Garcia's half-naked body, dressed in only her underwear, was retrieved from the sea near the pier off Front Street in Danriga. It's news Garcia's only child is still processing. She last saw her mom almost 6 months ago.
That's the thing that hurt me. I haven't seen my mom from June. June was the last time I saw my mom, and I remember the last time I saw my mom before my grandma took her to Danriga, and then I hugged her, and we just said I told her I love you, Mom, and she told me I love you more.
Jasmine Garcia, better known as Min Min or Minas, lived alone in another part of town and would visit her immediate family from time to time in the Wagerale area. The last time her mom and sisters saw her was a week ago. A relative told us that Garcia was spotted around town socializing on Friday night. Another friend reported that Garcia stopped by her house on Saturday night, but they didn't get a chance to talk. A couple hours later, Garcia was found dead with massive injuries to the face and neck. She was killed sometime between Saturday night and early Sunday morning.
At the time when my mom got to the scene, yeah, that like me the naked, and my mama say he had like a deep chop behind the head and back of the neck that like they lash out with something like big and heavy because it looked like his neck broken out.
The family says that Garcia was well known in the town. She was friendly and kind, but they say that she lived a fast life, one where she spent most of her time on the streets of Danriga. So it's hard for the family to tell who all are the people that she associated with or may have come in contact with. She was always out late at night, partying, dancing, or hanging out with friends. And it's during one of those nights out, sometime last year, that she made enemy with a man. The family says that man had threatened her life.
When they come and tell me that they find one body at Danriga and it's suspect to be that my sister, instant my mind, run past she, because we know the life way me to live, and I won't say she was an angel, but for everybody we know Min, Minas that I love. Minas, everybody where you could talk to could attest to that. Despite her lifestyle, it is shocking the way how they kill her. And for what reason, we don't know,
When they talk about it, the person we had problem with that I'm a male person, but I don't know the individual, so I can't say. So that like, she called multiple times, they said that this person is threatening life. And she make report to the police as well.
But she didn't say why this person was threatening her?
No, ma'am. I believe that they got into a fight. I don't know.
This is a long time ago or just this year?
Like last year?
Last year,
Yeah, I think it's last year.
According to the family, Garcia didn't report any recent dispute. They say that she kept most of her problems to herself. While she spent a lot of time in the streets, residents say that Jasmine Garcia was harmless. But her family knows that it's a brutal end that she didn't deserve.
Jasmine usually hang out, you know. Jasmine is a person who hang out. When I tell her hang out because she does somebody, she loves chili party and so. You know, but still I still not see why. You know, they may try kill her to the extent.
As a mom, you used to worry about her being out there?
All the time. All the time. Sometimes if I don't see Jasmine, I go in our areas where I know she usually, you know, hang out and so, just make her see me baby. You know, when I see her pass, because then when she knows she the hand and so, not in me she wants to see.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
Well-known Danriga artist Ellsworth Vida Magdaleno spoke with News 5 this evening to condemn the killing of Jasmine Garcia. Garcia, as we told you, was killed and her body dumped in the sea in Danriga. She is Magdaleno's first cousin, and today the artist said that while this killing has hit home for his family, police and the community must work together to restore peace in the once harmonious town.
She was a very mannerly person, jovial, always happy. Whenever we have any private function, man, she is the life of the party. You know, she was well loved. She was a very humble person, you know, very hype, but we're supposed to be preparing for a wedding, you know. That's what our family was coming together for this December, but no, this happened. We got to prepare for a funeral now. I think the police are not doing enough, and as a people too, we need to, you know, stop being afraid to come out and let, as witnesses, you know, come out if you see anything, come out and talk, because then when it knocks at your door, it's not a very good feeling. You gotta, you know, just be very careful. You gotta look out for each other. I mean, our town was not like this. Danriga was a peaceful place. You could walk there anytime, any part of the night, and nothing happens. But now, you really have to be very careful because, man, things is getting very hot in Danriga. We as musicians as well, we have to try write some song about this, and it's not only about writing song about this, but we need to push more about crime and violence in our country, because then what will happen to the children in the future? You know, if this is out of hand already. Imagine 5 years from now.
Police say that they are now looking for one person who may be able to assist in the murder investigation of 36-year-old Jasmine Garcia. That person, according to police, is a resident of the town. Not much else is known about Garcia's murder except that she was seen out socializing before she was found floating near the pier in Danriga. Police say that their reports show that Garcia was last seen alive on Friday night, but today we confirmed with the family that she was seen around town on Saturday night when she went to a friend's house. Garcia, however, didn't get the opportunity to talk with that friend, and some 10 to 12 hours later she was found dead on Sunday morning. Here's what police have to say about this killing.
What we know so far is that she was last seen alive on Friday night, sometime after 10 p.m. Police is seeking one person whom we believe can assist us in this investigation.
Is there any motive?
At this point in time, no.
And the person of interest, that person is from Danriga?
Yes, he is.
So I'm not sure if you mentioned, but the investigators believe that she was sexually violated.
At this point in time, we do not know. That will be dependent on that will be determined at the post-mortem.
Sir, any reports on any sort of altercation or conflict she had with anyone in the area?
There is some information that we are working on, which I will not disclose at this point.
ACP Maiva told the media today that cops in the town saw Garcia on Friday night. Further south in Punta Gorda, Gerald Hines Jr. was killed on Sunday morning. The latest murder victim was on Prince Street, where his family lives. He was outside his house when a gunman opened fire. The Hines family believes that the bullets were meant for another person who was walking by. That person, Albert Valentine, was injured in the shooting. The gunman fled the scene of the crime, but police have detained a suspect. News 5's Isani Caetano was in Punta Gorda and files the following report.
An attempt on the life of a known criminal figure in Punta Gorda has resulted in the execution of another individual who, by all accounts, was innocent to the mess that 24-year-old Albert Valentine has gotten himself into. When a lone gunman appeared on Prince Street on Sunday night, 36-year-old Glenford Hines Jr. was standing outside of his family home. The shooter opened fire on his quarry before turning his weapon on the bystander.
I hear 5 shots, and then his mom came out and said, "What that?" And then me feel a pop shot, that bomb out. I tell her, no man, bomb song different than that. And when she think she come out, cause she feel like that after she son, but they said that not him. Someone run through the yard, and we can't just we never know that the guy get shot too.
When the shooting subsided, both men had been injured. Hines, or Tala, as he was known by friends and family, had been shot below the right armpit and lower left back. Despite an attempt to pursue the armed attacker, first responders could not catch up to him. They then rushed Hines to the Punta Gorda hospital, where he expired shortly thereafter.
We was trying to get him, but he ride too fast. And then we come back, and by the time we come back, we saw my brother laying on the ground on his face. And he and his other brother was trying to help him, but he was trying to fight while he's like choked. And we tried to get him in the vehicle, and by the time we reached the hospital, the doctor said they were that thing, and right here they pronounced him dead.
Valentine, on the other hand, was also wounded in the lower left back and right wrist. He managed to escape grave injury by running through the Hines property before collapsing behind a residence on West Street. He was discovered sometime later.
The gunman rode off on a bicycle. He had on a red cap and a gray-looking shirt with a blue underneath it.
The alleged gunman was successful in evading his pursuers during the getaway, but has since been taken into custody by Punta Gorda police. News 5 understands that an individual believed to be the shooter was taken off a bus headed for Belize City in the early hours of this morning. While they have not released a motive, speculation runs amok in this southern municipality. The Hines family maintains, however, that their sibling was never the intended target of the deadly spray.
He wasn't the first one to be shot at that night, I would say, because he was here every night he's here. If they want to come and shot him, they would shot him a long time ago. But to be honest, from speaking from my heart, I do believe that it was the other person, the other suspect, other victim, sorry, that was just passing by, and I believe they were trailing him for a little while. And I believe just by the time he was passing our house, that's when the gunman decided to strike. And the victim that is alive right now, he used to hang around here, so he does know our yard. He knows it's a little shortcut as well, so he decided to try run for his life through here,
Hines' younger brother, Jamie, recalls his fallen brother as someone who was more than willing to lend a hand to anyone in need. That's what he was most known for.
My brother was a good role model to society, a loving person. He wasn't related in any gang-related activities or anything like that. And, I think, like my brother said, they just shot him because probably the guy was bare-faced and he didn't want any witness,
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Caetano.
Earlier this year, Albert Valentine and another man identified as Adwan Usher were both arrested and charged for attempted murder in the wake of an incident that occurred in Punta Gorda back in February. It is alleged that the pair of men had let loose a barrage of gunshots at a home on Queen Street. While no one was injured during the attack, the men ran into Police Constable Marcus Chook while attempting to flee the scene on bicycles. That was Valentine's last reported brush with the law. On Sunday night, someone wanted him dead, and it is believed that the assignment had been outsourced to a hired gun from Belize City. Valentine remains hospitalized at the Southern Regional Hospital after undergoing surgery earlier today. Sadly, the attack on his life also resulted in the death of another individual. Assistant Commissioner of Police Joseph Maivet tells us more.
Last night, shortly after 10:30 p.m., Punta Gorda police was called to the Punta Gorda Community Hospital, where they observed the body of a dark complexion male later identified as Glenford Hines Jr. of a Cayetano Street address in Punta Gorda town, with apparent gunshot injuries. What the police know so far is that Mr. Hines was inside his yard when another male person, later identified as Albert Valentine, was walking on the street when he was approached by a dark complexion male person who fired several shots in Valentine's direction, which caused him to run inside the yard of Mr. Hines. And as a result, both received gunshot injuries. For Mr. Hines, he was rushed to the Punta Gorda hospital where he succumbed to those injuries shortly thereafter. Albert Valentine received gunshot injuries and he was treated and later transferred to the Southern Regional Hospital where he remains in a stable condition. Police is seeking one suspect in relation to this investigation. They were seeking two, but one of those persons is already in custody whom we believe can assist in this investigation.
There is a new case of police brutality to report. The violent incident was caught on camera and the images released on social media. It shows a police officer put a chokehold on a Belize City resident who was in front of a store on Fobbers Road. Another officer is seen holding down Anthony George Tillett as the first cop punches the victim on his body. Tillett's outraged family is calling for the intervention of the Commissioner of Police. Here is News 5's Hippolyta Novello.
An internal investigation has been launched by the police department after this video of a police officer attached to the special patrol unit attacking an unarmed Belize City man went viral. Anthony George Tillett was purchasing food items at a store on Fobbers Road on Sunday night when the officer approached him. A discussion was had, and seconds after, as the video shows, the SPU officer chokeholds Tillett from behind. The officer roughs up Tillett, trying to bring him down. Meanwhile, a second officer gets involved. He restrains Tillett while the first officer punches a defenseless Tillett in his abdomen and face. The family is outraged at calling on Commissioner of Police Chester William to address the matter with urgency.
He went to purchase some items to make something to eat. And upon purchasing the items, it seemed that the officers were conducting a search in the area. They then approached him, asked him what he was doing. He explained to the officer he was purchasing items before he can go home. As you can see in the video, while going to pay for the items, he was forcefully detained by the officer without any sort of warning. He was not even in an aggressive or assertive posture while he was being attacked by the officer. As seen on the video, he actually had his back turned. And what makes it even more upsetting is the fact that the other officer came to restrain Mr. Tillett while I have the officer's name, while the other one physically abused him, punched him in his face, his neck, hitting him in his stomach and chest several times.
Head of the National Crimes Investigation Branch, ACP Joseph Maivet, says that the matter is under investigation.
There will be an internal investigation, and certainly the complainant will be contacted by the Professional Standards Branch, where a statement will be recorded from him, and then an investigation will be carried out.
The officers, do you know, have been identified?
I cannot say that at this point in time, but every infraction that is committed by police officers are investigated by the Professional Standards Branch, and actions are taken in respect to those complaints or investigations.
Reporting for News 5, Hippolyta Novello.
Coming up, police say they have been unable to find the caretaker of the airstrip where the remnants of a plane were found in the area of Chanchen, Corozal. The Belize Peace Movement and Vision Inspired by the People were back in court this morning before Chief Justice Kenneth Benjamin, where they are seeking leave to commence a judicial review challenging the government of Belize in respect of a redistricting exercise. The disparity between the various constituencies as far as the number of registered voters remains an area of concern for both parties, who have since sought legal counsel from attorney Arthur Saldivar in filing the application. Those numbers, says Saldivar, are grossly uneven in many electoral divisions, including Fort George and Mesopotamia in Belize City.
The initial and the primary purpose of the challenge is to address a constitutional violation that exists that has arisen as a result of the non-compliance with Section 90 of the Constitution, which is to make the constituencies as equal as possible. What happens with that is that by virtue of that imbalance, that inequality, Section 6, the Equal Protection of Law provision, is violated as it relates to those applicants who have brought this matter before the court. We wouldn't have been here had the requests for the matter to be addressed had been acceded to. We're here because they were not. So this is basically the bottom line as it relates to that issue. Now, the inequality in terms of the constituencies, you must appreciate, leaves the issue where the voter in, for example, Fort George and Mesopotamia is 5 and 6 times more powerful than the voter in Bamapan or Stan Creek West. So you have 31 seats in Parliament, and each constituency elects one representative. But whereas in Fort George or Mesopotamia, where 1,500 elects one, in Bamapan and in Cayo South or Stan Creek West, 7,000 elects one. So in that regard, there's a major disparity.
The Bamapan Supreme Court recently freed 2 men who had been charged with the murder of Canadian Matthew Clinch. The filmmaker was stabbed to death in January 2016 outside his house in Selena, Cayo district. 22-year-old Brandon Anderson and a minor were charged with his murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Both were released in the courtroom of Justice Antoinette Moore. Clinch's family has reacted to the outcome of the case, saying there's no justice. Clinch's mother, Louise Dallier, told Radio Canada in French, quote, "It brought me back to the same place I was 4 years ago. All the emotions came back," unquote. Clinch's cousin, Jean-Sébastien Dallier, also commented, saying, quote, "When my cousin was murdered, my uncle and aunt went to Belize. When they came back, it was obvious that corruption is a big problem over there. The police can't be trusted. The authorities, there's no way you can trust anybody," unquote. Anderson was defended by attorney Brian Neal. The judge threw out several pieces of key evidence, including a confession from Anderson. Banner argued that police had obtained the confession illegally. The issue of the continued usage of gill nets in Belizean waters remains a heated debate among fisheries stakeholders following government's recent decision not to outlaw the destructive fishing gear. On Friday, only 2 days after government sent out a press release stating that it will not prohibit the use of gill nets, a large commercial fishing net measuring approximately 1,500 feet was hauled out of the sea south of Punta Gorda. A team of researchers had been in the area doing work on crocodiles when they encountered the gill net. Today, Will Mejia, founder of the Belize Territorial Volunteers, sounded off on government's decision not to ban the equipment.
On Friday evening, just about 24 hours after the law went into effect about making gill net in the southern part of the country, south of PG, a group of crocodile researchers were doing some research along the coast of south of Punta Gorda, and they ran into this gill net. And if sea was rough, it could have been very dangerous because it could have sunk their boat. They started to pull the net up, and 2 hours later they were still pulling the same net up. which was full of bonefish and other endangered species. So again, like, if we're going to make a law, why are we not going to enforce the law? In fact, right now, there is a reward for anyone who could bring a picture of the fisheries enforcement boat south of Punta Gorda, because it's never seen in that area.
So, who had this gill net there?
Well, they set the gill net and then they go into the bushes and hide, so you can't say who had it there, but we know it was there. And as the evidence speaks for itself, and this gill net was so long, I mean, you could see it. It was like about 4 or 5 of the PG tongue blocks. We put it there so that the people of PG could see, and they were alarmed at the way, at the size of this gill net, the length of it. You have 83 licensed gill net fishermen. The coalition and Oceana have raised $2 million, which could give each one of those 83 fishermen $1,200 per month for the next 2 years while they transition to something else, right? That was turned down, which is a damn shame that that was turned down, because it's not you're paying them to transition to a more sustainable trade. We pride ourselves. We have our politicians or government people in Spain right now dealing with climate change, talking about all the great things that Belize is doing, but what are we really doing on the ground? I mean, we're turning on $2 million. Each fisherman could get $1,200 per month for 2 years while they transition. And I cannot understand how the Minister of Fisheries, which is, I think, the Honorable Godwin Hills, and Omar Figueroa turned that down.
On Friday morning, the remnants of a burnt twin-engine aircraft with the markings N5461 were discovered west of Chan Chan village in the Corozal district. As is customary, no one was found in the area and neither was any cargo. However, a police find included 11 small aluminum buckets, 4 portable rechargeable LED lights, and a magazine containing 34 live rounds of 7.62 ammunition. Investigators today said they are not certain when and what time the aircraft landed on the registered airstrip, which is owned by a Corozal man. ACP Joseph Maivet says that the caretaker of the airstrip and hangar has not been located since the discovery of the burnt plane.
Most of the aircraft was burnt to ashes, and the remains were inspected, and also several other paraphernalia was found in the area. No one was found in the immediate area. The airstrip is a registered airstrip. The entire area was searched. We are aware that there was a caretaker to the airstrip and hangar. However, he has not been found since that incident as well.
So he is missing?
Well, he has not been found. No one has reported him missing, but he has not been found, and several efforts have been made to try and locate him.
Is there anything to suspect that drugs were on board the destroyed aircraft?
At this point in time, we cannot confirm that that was the case.
The tables have turned for 2 men, Wilmer Polanco and Manuel Sacol, who allegedly were held at gunpoint and robbed on Saturday night. The employees of Racino's Imports told Roaring Creek police that at around 10 o'clock they were in the company's white freight liner truck traveling from Belize City to the Cayo district when they were ordered to stop by 3 men inside a gray Ford Escape. The employees claimed they complied and were supposedly robbed of an undisclosed amount of money. But after police conducted interviews, investigators say the account of the men did not add up. As a result, the duo is in police custody while investigators work to establish what exactly occurred.
When upon reaching Cotton Tree Village, they were approached by 3 dark-complexioned male persons in a dark-colored Ford Escape, who signaled them or motioned to them to drive towards the area of the Never Delay Road, where they were then accosted and taken out of the vehicle, and an undisclosed amount of money was robbed from them. Thereafter, they were locked in the back of the truck, and they later freed themselves and proceeded to Roaring Creek Police Station, where they made a report. Based on the report given by them and the investigations conducted by police, those persons are detained, as the report given by them is not consistent as to what was found by the police. So they are detained pending investigation into this matter.
So, sir, there was some sort of inside job that they're working on?
Well, that is what we are trying to determine at this point.
The deputy mayor of Benque, Viejo, Alvaro Gongora, was carjacked on Friday morning. Gongora, along with 2 of his employees, was on the Arenal Road in his 2015 Ford Explorer when they were held up at gunpoint. The masked Hispanic men demanded the keys to the vehicle. Gongora complied, and the robbers sped off in the vehicle into Guatemala. ACP Joseph Maivet shares more.
Police received a report from Alvaro Gongora of a Benque Viejo town address, who informed the police that earlier that day, around 7 or 7:30 a.m., himself along with 2 workers proceeded to his farm on the Arenal Road in his burgundy in color Ford Explorer pickup. And whilst at his farm, he was approached by 3 Hispanic males, 2 of whom was armed, and they demanded the keys for his vehicle. And as a result, they were given the keys and they took off in his vehicle towards the direction of Arenal.
The vehicle is valued at $12,000 and has not been recovered. ACP Maivet says that there is a vehicle checkpoint on the Arenal Road. Police in the Cayo district are investigating a scary home invasion which occurred on Saturday night, during which another vehicle was stolen. Alvin Chi was enjoying a peaceful night with his family in the village of San Jose Socots when 3 masked men gained entrance into their homes, terrorizing the Chi family. The assailants held the family at gunpoint and proceeded to steal Chi's white Toyota pickup truck, which they used as a getaway vehicle. Head of the National Crimes Investigation Branch, ACP Joseph Maivet, says investigators believe the vehicle has also been taken across the border into Guatemala.
Whilst inside his home shortly before that time, along with his family, he was approached by 3 male Hispanic persons who were armed. As a result, his home was searched by those persons, and the keys for his white pickup was taken. As a result, his pickup was also taken. Police are investigating this matter. We are of the belief that this vehicle was taken, and it was taken through Arenal into Guatemala.
After the break, on International Anti-Corruption Day, the Belize Peace Movement holds a rally.
This
Belize celebrates its third year having signed on to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, the UNCAC. Since 2016, when government was brought to its knees during an 11-day strike effected by the Belize National Teachers Union, there hasn't been much in terms of progress. There still isn't a functional integrity commission, neither is there a contractor general in office, just a few of the achievements that can be made with a little political will. Today, the Belize Peace Movement came out to the Battlefield Park where they protested to raise public awareness on the matter.
The Belize Peace Movement stands for Patriots Engaged Against Corruption and Exploitation. And so we have been at this for years. We have proof where 10 years ago we've been championing the cause against corruption, raising awareness, calling out the powers that be that we cannot continue down this road. We know that in the early 90s, the CARICOM launched the Integrity Commission initiative, and in 1994 we enacted the Prevention of Corruption in Public Life Act. That's 25 years ago. Yet the statistics show that less than 10% of our elected persons, and there's 110 persons from the city councils, the Senate, and the House of Representatives who should be abiding by this law. It's a law. It comes with fine and confinement. Nothing happens. Later in 2001, 2002, we signed on to the OAS Inter-American Convention Against Corruption. Laughed at. They haven't even kept it. We kept hammering at them until we got them to sign the United Nations Convention Against Corruption in 2016. Well, 3 years later, they have not implemented. And they know why they're dragging their feet. Because a few of them would be going to jail. That's what happens in other jurisdictions where they take this very serious. They take it very serious, and they, especially the component that calls for an autonomous body to deal with investigations and prosecutions. In countries where that takes place, just like Guatemala across the border, even their presidents are put in jail because of corruption. And most of it is related to campaign financing. Taking campaign financing, taking bribes is against the law.
The NTUCB has also made a statement to mark the International Anti-Corruption Day. You will recall that the unions staged protests to pressure the government to sign off on the anti-corruption conventions. The NTUCB calls on government to demonstrate its commitment and seriousness about effectively combating corruption. The union states that at its annual general meeting hosted in Kikocker over the weekend, delegates of the 10-member unions approved a resolution to re-establish meetings of the UNCAC Steering Committee and for government to proceed expeditiously with the review and passage of anti-corruption legislation and the establishment of anti-corruption practices in agencies in Belize. 2 persons died in separate fatal traffic accidents over the weekend. A man was killed in a hit-and-run on the Southern Highway on Saturday. The accident happened near the Kendall village around 4 in the afternoon. Danriga police responded to the scene where they found the victim, a resident of Maya Center, already dead.
They observed the body of a clear complexion male person, later identified as Liboro H, 64 years, of a Maya Center address on the right-hand side of the highway when heading south. Initial investigation revealed that Mr. H was walking southbound when he was hit from a vehicle from behind, which did not stop. At this point in time, we are seeking the public's assistance in trying to identify that vehicle and those persons who were in that vehicle who had knocked down Mr. H. So far, we do not have any information, though.
In the other traffic fatality, Epifiano Chan lost his life on Sunday evening. The San Narciso village resident was driving his pickup truck on the San Narciso-San Victor Road when the incident occurred. ACP Maivet says that Chan lost control of the vehicle and died on the spot.
What the police know so far is that Mr. Chan seemingly was alone traveling in the direction of San Victor village when he lost control and overturned and was apparently thrown from the vehicle, which caused him to lose his life. Police are investigating this matter.
Last week, we reported on the gruesome murder of former teacher Elito Puk. He was reported missing the week before, and the family discovered that he had gone across the border to Melchor. The details of what he was doing in Guatemala are still unclear, and the family told us that they also didn't know why he was killed. As we reported, a severed head was found in Guatemala last week, and later the decomposing headless body was found near the border on land that belongs to Belizean Jorge Espat. That land, we've shown you, is in dispute with a Guatemalan community called Barrio de Juda. When we spoke with Espat last week, he told us that he believes Puk was killed elsewhere and dumped on his property. Today, police spoke with the press about Puk's grisly murder and what they are doing to investigate it.
Upon their arrival, they observed the decapitated body of a Hispanic male with injuries, and as well a rope was found on the body. Based on other items found on the body, the family members of Elito Puk were called, who identified some of those items. The body was then removed from the area after the scene was processed, and a post-mortem was conducted. At this point in time, we do not have no leads as to what may have caused Mr. Puk's death or who were responsible for his death.
Investigators do believe that he was killed in Guatemala.
Yes.
And how is the department here working along with their country?
Yes, we are. I believe there is a meeting this morning. We have met several times with the Guatemalan authorities, and there is a meeting ongoing at this point.
A decapitated head, or at least the remains, were found a couple of days before, and have police been able to confirm if that was Mr. the victim's head?
No, we have not, but certainly we will request DNA samples from the Guatemalan authorities in respect to what was found on their side of the border, so there can be a comparison to determine whether or not that is indeed the head of Mr. Puk.
Gerald Bomba Lam of Biscayne Belize District died on Saturday morning while on life support. Lam was a victim of a shooter who released a barrage of bullets targeting him, hitting him 3 times, twice to the head and once to the chest. The incident occurred on November 4th while Lam and a friend were on a motorcycle on Mile 24, which runs through the village on the Philip Golson Highway. A vehicle drove up to the unsuspecting victim and a gunman opened fire. Lam was rushed to the KHMH, where he was placed on life support until his death. Investigators say they do not have enough evidence to lay a murder charge on anyone.
Mr. Gerald Emilio Lam, after suffering gunshot injuries, passed away on Saturday morning. The investigation has led to the detention of several persons, and up to yesterday, some of them were released because we don't have all the evidence at this moment to charge anybody with that crime. Nonetheless, police are still investigating this matter.
When we come back, 2 men remain missing. The families plead for help to locate them. A fire broke out on Independence Street in San Ignacio Town over the weekend. On Saturday morning, Carmita Salazar was in her home when she was alerted that her snack shop, located in the same yard, was engulfed in flames. Salazar, along with neighbors, fought the blaze while firefighters arrived. However, the snack shop was destroyed. Investigators are working on determining what caused the inferno.
Her snack shop, which is in the same yard of her home, was on fire. As a result, herself, along with neighbors, tried to extinguish the fire. The fire department was called and they also arrived on the scene and was able to save her home, which did in fact receive fire damages, but the snack shop was totally destroyed by fire. At this point in time, the cause of the fire is unknown. Both fire department personnel and police are investigating this matter.
So is there any evidence to suggest arson of this?
At this point in time, that has not been determined. We are still awaiting a report from the fire department.
Belmopan resident Desmore Bowman remains missing tonight. He was last seen 10 days ago on Friday, November 29th, in the Young Bank area with another man. His mother, Mary Coleman, says he left home to go to Western Union to collect some money and has not been heard from since then. His family believes that he's dead, and a search party comprised of police and family members combed an area along miles 22 and 23 on the George Price Highway. But according to Superintendent Alejandro Coe, the search proved futile.
We had received some information that a possible location at mile 22 and 23 of the George Price Highway. However, up to late in the evening, nothing was found in that area now.
So no articles of clothing, nothing to indicate that he was in that area?
There were a few items that was found in the area, but I cannot tell you if the clothing that was found is his clothing.
Has the family been able to identify those articles of clothing?
The family were present along with the police when they were conducting the searches.
As you heard, the police did not confirm if the items found belonged to Bowman. Concern is growing over Devon Lopez. Lopez has not been seen or heard from since a week ago on Monday, December 2nd. The authorities are asking for the public's assistance in locating the Belize City youth. Lopez left his home in Belama Phase 3 to meet a friend after he received a call. He is yet to return home. Lopez has the tattooed Darlene Whitfield on the right side of his forehead, a second tattoo with the words RIP Kenyan on his left calf, and a skull tattoo on his right hand. Superintendent Alejandro Coe says investigators are working with the family to locate Lopez.
We have been in communication with family members and friends trying to establish the whereabouts of Mr. Lopez, but up to this time, we have not received no other information. We encourage the general public that if you have anybody missing, to inform the police department as quick as possible and do not take a long time to report this matter. This is the second person that we are receiving of a report missing, that the family are taking almost a week to report the person missing. Then it caused a lot of delay with the investigation and to try to speak to other persons that can assist in the investigation. No? So we urge, is there anybody that's missing, that the people they come forthwith and report it to us.
Sir, where was the last time the person was seen, and has the family spoken to any beef or altercation and any suspicion?
He was last seen in the Belama area. We were told by family members that he had received a call and that he was to meet a friend, and that was the last time that they saw him leaving from that area.
Coming up after the break, the lucky grand prize winner of Gimme 5.
In life, you need reliable information.
A week of the popular show Gimme 5 concluded on Friday night. Viewers got the opportunity to win tons of prizes as part of a 28th anniversary celebration by simply answering their phone saying, "Gimme 5." The worthy top winner of this year's show is from Belize City. She received that call from our studios at around 10:30, and with bated breath, she answered correctly saying, "Gimme 5." Camille Pat placed many coupons in the tank and walked away with a round-trip ticket from United Airlines, a mattress courtesy of Belize Foams, a Ring video doorbell courtesy Cellular World, an Oster microwave from Big Limited, jewelry from Medina's House of Jewelry, and an assortment of wines and gift baskets. This morning, she was here at our studios to collect prizes that will make her holidays so much better. This is what she had to say.
Camille Pat! You are the grand prize winner! Congrats! Yes, you win, girl, you win!
Well, we were watching all week, and well, the last day, me and my husband was sitting watching the TV show, and I was telling him about a story. When it's yours, and the blessings of God that He gives unto us. So, at the same time, in the last portion, He distracted me with some pictures. And all of a sudden, I see my phone blinking. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? My heart started beating. And I picked up the phone, and I didn't even know how to answer. Like, I got confused with the screen. And so I picked it up, and I did it, and I said, "Give me 5." And on the other end, I didn't hear them say anything. So I got confused, and I was like, didn't say anything else because I don't want anything else to, they hear it on the phone and say, oh, you didn't win. So I said again, "Give me 5." And then I heard the response saying, "Congratulations, you won the last prize." We were in disbelief. I couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. I'm like, we did it. And I up to this point, I still couldn't believe it.
So what are your plans for the gifts you've received?
Well, the mattress will go to my daughter. She needed a mattress, so we needed to change it. And, well, the others, well, it's a blessing of God. We have our Christmas dinner there, so.
What are your plans for that ticket?
Well, honestly, my husband was the one that hasn't gone to the States. And so he has always been anxious to go to the States. And so in my mind, I was like, I'm going to win this for him.
The Belize Camping Experience is selling apples this holiday season, and it is for a good cause. The nonprofit suffered big losses this year with its Harvest for Kids program. The drought wiped out most of their crops, and those that survived, it didn't produce as much. So they were only able to cut even on those crops. So the BCE started to look for ways to raise funds for its program, and they connected with farmers in Mexico who have credited them a container full of variety of apples. The BCE now needs your support to buy those apples. Around 1,000 cases available for purchase. Here's Director Alex Perez on the apple deals available this week.
The public can buy apples for $1 for $120 for 1 box of apples, measure from 80 apples to 175 apples, and then if you want the smaller apples, there's 200 apples on a case. Same price, $120, but if you buy more than 5 cases, we give it for $100 a case. These apples are golden delicious, the yellow apple, which is the golden, then we have red delicious, and then we have the gala apple. So we have large, medium, and small apples.
There are special prices for schools, churches, and children or youth-led organizations. You can reach Alex Perez at 614-5541, or you can go to Belize Camping Experience's Facebook page for more information. Up next, the Weekend of Sports with James Adderley.
Make your Christmas bright with an easy credit loan from Atlantic Bank. Apply today and enjoy low interest rates, convenient repayment terms, and make no principal payments up to 2 months. With every approved loan, get a chance to win one of our 12 fantastic prizes. For more details, visit atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, making your holidays brighter.
No tricks, no illusions. This smart SIM is all you need to make the switch to your full-service telecom provider. Smart. No need to purchase a new device. Just swap your DigiSIM and join the smart network. You'll enjoy the best rates on calls, text, and data. Swap your DigiSIM with a free smart SIM at no cost to you. Every month, for 3 months, you will get 3 days of unlimited calls and text, plus 200 megabytes of data on your new smart SIM. It's time to get smart.
With over 100 years of service excellence in Belize,
Good evening. I'm James Satterley. Welcome to this serving of Sports Monday. The PLB Football Opening Season Championship Series got off yesterday inside the Isidoro Beaton Stadium, featuring the defending champion Bandit Sports hosting arch rival and #1 seed this year, Verdes FC, in what will be a battle royal, people, and you can take that to the bank. Hey folks, you know it's going to be a monster clash when in the opening moments, Christian Lopez, he takes down Najib Guerra. You know what that means. The referee says there's no foul. Okay, we move on. Call it early excitement when Denmark Casey deals to Christian Lopez, whose left foot offering is rejected by goalkeeper Shane Orio. The ball reaches Carlos Bernal, who powers that goal. Bandit Sports is saved by the near upright. Folks, I guess Najib Guerra remembers Hussein Lopez had put a hurt on him, so here is the big payback. Bandit Sports finally successfully worked their way into the Verdes box when Jeffrey James deals this perfect pass to Danny Jimenez, whose right foot grounder inches outside the far post. Verdes responds with Denmark Casey penetrating the Belmopan defense from the left side to pick out Hussein Lopez, and his right foot shot gives Verdes the 1-0 lead at the 35th minute of play. 10 minutes later, Bandit Sports strikes back. Roberto de Lima, he finds Daniel Jimenez on the right side, and this time, Jimenez finds the far corner of the net to tie the ball game at 1 apiece. This is at the 45th minute of play. Second half action brings in a tense atmosphere. You know how it goes. Roberto Lima, he curls this set piece from the right side of the box. The ball reaches Jeffrey James, who doesn't make enough contact to make it count. At the other end, Verdes' Jared Davis, he gets a chance to be the Verdes hero, but the left foot shot could not get past Shane Orio with that pace. Verdes comes with the pressure in the closing minutes when Bernal seeks out Hussein Lopez, only to see Ian Genia shut down that effort. This ball game would finish in a 1-1 tie. Game 2 is set for this weekend. We don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, so you'll have to stay tuned. All we do know is that it's going to be a massive outing. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves with the 2019 crown, and that's compulsory. Let's check in on the women's amateur tournament as the semifinals concluded yesterday, and yes, the 2 teams to make it to the championship series have emerged. Verdes Rebels are the hosts inside the Norman Basta Stadium and are intent on avenging last week's 3-2 loss to Romberas at Cowpen Field. We're 18 minutes in when Daisy Cotton Beltran sets table perfectly for Katie Jones, who finds the far corner. It's more Romberas when Jessica Acevedo finds Katie Jones, who does not put enough on this ball to get it past goalkeeper Flor Garcia. Ashley Rodriguez looks to double the Romberas lead after this set piece, but the Verdes keeper rises to the occasion. Now watch this long distance strike by Kelsey Polanco that bounces off the crossbar as the Romberas pressure increases. We're in second half with Verdes searching for the equalizer. Giselle Baiza unleashes this right foot off the set piece that forces the keeper to come up with a save. Giselle gets a second chance for the equalizer, only to see the ball sail over the crossbar. At the other end, Katie Jones raises this ball to Daisy Beltran, who doesn't get the header off, and Ashley Rodriguez just could not finish the play. Hey guys, Ashley Rodriguez tries to make amends. She muscles her way into this possession and launches this right foot that inches outside the sticks. Jessica Acevedo then tries to connect with Kate Jones, but goalkeeper Flor Garcia gets the left foot on Jones' hip, and she goes down as the ball sails over the crossbar. Katie would continue. Rodriguez stares this ball to Miss Jones, and this time she shakes the net for her second goal at the 72nd minute. Romberas take the 2-0 lead. Romberas go on to post the 2-0 victory for a 5-2 aggregate in the 2-game series, and they are off to the championship round. They will face Joel Fury of Belmopan for the 2019 title after stunning Gladiators in a 4-0 blast. You know, it will be Katie Jones against Jada Brown. It's going to be big. Game 1 is set for 3 p.m. December 14th at Cowpen Field. Part 2 will come back to the Belmopan capital city, so get ready for fireworks. In softball news, the San Pedro Town Council softball tournament is making a move, making heads move. On Sunday, that's yesterday, RCGO defeated Rusty 7-3, giving the win to Conrad Gonzalez, the pitcher, and Extreme got past Bear League 6-4, the winning pitcher being Christian Logan. Roman McCullough was the loser. Looking ahead to 15th of December, San Pedro High School Sharks will go up against Rusties, and Extreme will see action against RCGO. I remind you, this is a co-ed tournament. Hey folks, that's our show for today. Certainly hope you enjoyed it. We invite you back same time, same place, next week. Ja! Overall, I'm James Satterley.
Sports Monday was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Belize Bank.
And that's the news. Don't forget that tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Marlene Cuellar. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.